The Brewster Buffalo. For anyone familiar with the Pacific Theater, that name often evokes a grimace, a cautionary tale of an aircraft simply not up to the task. And in that context, they wouldn't be wrong. The Buffalo story is a fascinating tale and lesson in how the same airframe can perform so differently depending on the theater, the tactics, and the men who flew it. When the F-2A3 model of the Brewster Buffalo was deployed in the Pacific, it was fighting with one hand tied behind its back before it even left the deck. The primary culprit was its excess weight, as it was burdened with over 900 pounds of mission-specific equipment, including armor, self-sealing tanks, and heavier guns. These drastically increased its wing loading and bled away its performance. Against its main rival, the Mitsubishi A6M Zero, this was often a death sentence. In a classic turning dogfight, the Zero held all the cards. Zero's superior roll rate allowed it to initiate maneuvers more quickly, while its tighter turn radius meant it could fly comfortably inside the Buffalo's own turn, easily bringing its cannons to bear. The fight wasn't just about agility either. The excess weight crippled the Buffalo's energy retention. The Zero could maintain a higher service ceiling, allowing its pilots to dictate the turns of engagement, diving from above with an energy advantage that the Buffalo pilots could rarely counter. In the Pacific, the Buffalo was, to put it bluntly, utterly outclassed. But now, let's shift our focus halfway across the world, to the brutal frozen skies over Finland. Here, the Finns were flying a much lighter, leaner export version called the B-239. And in their hands, their version of Buffalo became a legend, especially against Soviet aircrafts like the I-16 or the Lag-3. In this front, the Buffalo's respectable climb rate became a decisive tactical asset. Finnish pilots perfected boom and zoom tactics, using superior vertical performance to gain an altitude advantage and strike with lethal speed before their opponents could react. But performance figures on paper mean little without reliability on the front line. And this is where the Finns truly excelled. Their meticulous maintenance, cold weather modifications, winterized engines that would start reliably in sub-zero temperatures, and reinforced landing gear for rough airstrips gave them a level of serviceability the Soviet pilots could only dream of. This meant Finnish Buffaloes could fly more daily missions, negating Soviet numerical superiority. And then there is the critical factor of the man in the cockpit. Finnish pilots were products of a more rigorous training doctrine, entering combat with over 160 flight hours. While their Soviet adversaries were often thrown into the fray with as little as 40 flight hours, that experience gap was immense. Fresh Soviet pilots were barely airworthy. Many took the skies with little more than takeoff and landing practice and absolutely no real air combat skills. When we combine a capable machine, flown with superior tactical doctrine, maintained to perfection, and piloted by well-trained aviators, the results speak for themselves. The Finnish Buffaloes achieved a staggering kill-to-death ratio of 26-1. The Buffalo confronts us with a fundamental principle of warfare, that a weapon's performance depends on its ecosystem. Its success is forged not just in the factory, but by the skill of the pilot, the dedication of the ground crew, and the brutal realities of the theater of war. It's a death trap in one theater and a legendary ace maker in another. That is the complicated and truly fascinating legacy of the Brewster Buffalo. Thank you for watching, and please support my work by subscribing and purchasing my ebooks. You can find the links in my bio description or by searching for Adrian Langsford on Amazon.